Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with She-Hulk episode 3, called The People vs. Emil Blonsky. And I just want to start off by saying, what a great episode. This show never disappoints. I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined me and my brother's pre-show live stream yesterday, talking and getting ready for today's episode, which is episode 3. We had a lot of fun theories and fun speculations to go into that went into this episode, and it was going beyond the into other episodes in this series. So I just want to say thanks for people that are stopping in there. I really appreciate it. But this episode literally starts off with Jen instantly going back to the Department of Damage Control, Supermax Prison, wanting to talk to Emil about. I thought you said you wouldn't turn into Abomination anymore. You know what I mean? So like, how did this video get out? Because it doesn't make any sense, because you said you just weren't gonna turn into Abomination anymore. He said, well, these were different circumstances. Like I had to. That's why I was Abomination in this moment. And she's like, you do know how this can affect you getting your early parole. And he said, what? And we got this clip yesterday of this moment, which I absolutely loved. I did a reaction to it. It's up on the channel. But I just really appreciate the fact of that, we end up finding out the real question is that, Wong, or the real answer that Wong pretty much snuck out Emil without even the government knowing. And he only did this, we end up finding out from Wong, the only reason why he did this is because he needed to train to be Sorcerer Supreme. The only person that was strong enough that he could think of was the Abomination. And I love that, because Abomination, of course, is, is someone that's not as controlled and someone that is strong. It's shocking to me. I don't know why he didn't just ask Bruce. But maybe he thought that, Bruce, I don't know what he thought. Maybe Bruce was still healing at the time when all this was going down. Or actually, I think when all this was going down, Bruce wasn't even, even the Hulk anymore. He still had that dampener on, because that was the same time as Shang-Chi at the, when we saw the end credit in Shang-Chi where Bruce is in Hulk form and he's still healing. And that fight happened or whatever, so that makes sense. Like, he couldn't ask Bruce, I guess, because he was still healing and he was in human form. So I kind of just answered my own question right now. But I do love the fact of, that's what Wong's excuse was. It's like, I needed somebody powerful enough to fight, to do training, to be Sorcerer Supreme. And it wasn't anything like, secretive, oh, I needed him for some big thing. It's like, no, I just needed a sparring partner. So I did love that. It was simple. But I love how she's like, you can't just do that. She ends up having a conversation with Wong. But I love how the friend has to make, a thirst trap thing by her taking a picture with a whole bunch of books, because it says on Wong's description of all the things he does about being, a librarian or whatever. And it says, he was also a person that worked at Target. There's a whole list of things he's done on his portfolio. It looks like it's either Facebook or Twitter. I'm not quite sure, but I do find it funny that he has a portfolio on whatever social media, and he's kind of all over the internet. But I love, when he first gets there, she does get his attention, and, Jen's saying you can't do that or whatever. You can't just take out people like that. This could affect my case. I'm going to need you to come in and explain to the government why you took him out. You know what I mean? So that way you don't ruin my case. Which is very interesting. And not only that, before we get to Wong and, Jen is talking on her way back, talking to her friend on her way back from the Supermax prison to try to figure out, asking her friend, can you figure out who Wong is? I love when she turns to the camera, breaking the fourth wall again, and she literally tells us, I know you guys are excited to see Wong, but don't think this is going to be one of those every week cameo shows. And she's like, even though we did see Bruce, even though we did see, Emil Abomination or Emil Blonsky, and just don't forget whose show this is. I loved that. It says how it is. She's like, yeah, there is cameos here, but at the same time, don't forget it's still my show. I love that. It is still her show, and these cameos just make the show even better. That's why I love this show so much. But, we end up getting more into this episode, while, she met Wong, which was very interesting, the conversation that they both had, saying that you can't do this, you can't just, mess, just take people out when you want to when they're in prison and stuff like that, even though it benefits you. And it just goes back to showing how the sorcerers do this. It's not just Strange that does, things that he wants to do, thinking he's above the law. It's also Wong. Wong, needed to do this, so he thought he would, to have a sparring partner, have someone that was strong enough to do it. But he's someone that knows that the law can't touch him. The sorcerers know that, which is kind of true. What is the law going to do when you're a sorcerer? It's kind of like they know that you can't do anything. I mean, so I just love kind of how they just think that they don't need to take any responsibility for what they do. But I love also, Jen gets called into the office by Holden Holloway. And, I love when, he said, okay, I have your old colleague here, Dennis, and she kind of wants I think he kind of wanted, Jen to take Dennis's case. And even Jen's like, why, whatever case that Dennis is a part of, I want no part of. And we kind of find out that he ends up getting thinking he's dating Megan Thee Stallion, I guess, but it ends up being an elf from Asgard, which I saw this coming from a mile away. I said in my live stream that all these supernatural creatures look like they're from New Asgard, and I was correct. And I find it funny that it was super funny because even Jen's laughing at the fact that, oh my God, you got tricked thinking that you had a chance with Megan Thee Stallion. You should have knew that wasn't really Megan Thee Stallion. And that's kind of like the pinning joke throughout, the entire, episode is that, oh, you really thought you were going to date Megan Thee Stallion. How would you not? You definitely knew that was a shape-shifting elf, and you just didn't care. Pretty much that's what people were saying, that he just knew, and he just went along with it. I don't think he did, though, because he's such a smug ass that I do think that he would think that he was capable of dating Megan Thee Stallion. So I just love that that's the joke. But Pug is the one that ends up taking the case, and he ends up winning the case, which but it was super funny because when they're in the courtroom, and right away, kind of the judge is kind of like, oh, it seems to be almost trying to make it sound like this dude must have knew that he wasn't dating Megan Thee Stallion. Even the judge was kind of making a joke at it or whatever. But in a way, it was kind of going to his favor, and it was kind of going against the fact of that the elf tried saying the judge tried saying, you have no immunity here or whatever. This isn't New Asgard. And then of course the elf gets up and says Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. He's like, yeah, enough with all that, hopeful, monologue. That's not what it is. You don't have immunity here. You have to stay in New Asgard. And I love that. And they play the music up to it too, which is Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. It's like, yeah, no, we don't do the hopeful, monologues here or whatever. So I just thought that was super funny. That, and this is the question that everybody's been wondering too, is that how does that all work? Do you have people were wondering, can New Asgardians go anywhere else, or do they have to stay in New Asgard, stay in their own little country or their own little place? It's I love how we're kind of getting into how that all works. We kind of started getting into that in Falcon and Winter Soldier, on how people had no jurisdiction over there and stuff like that, and how that was all going. So I feel like we're kind of getting it more now that aliens are coming from space and coming down to Earth, and how that all works. So that's just going to be very interesting to me. Of course, no one was doing that with Thor, because at the time, no one's going to tell Thor, oh, you can't be in this certain place. You know what I mean? So it's kind of I'm excited to see for these other, we saw for these other Asgardians, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I guess if you don't fight with the Avengers, you know what I mean? You don't get the whole, special treatment, if you get to go wherever you get to go. I guess, since you have to stay in New Asgard, it's kind of it just, the judge told us it right there. You have no immunity anywhere else. You have to stay in New Asgard. So already I kind of knew that I was going in Pug's favor against defending Dennis. Even though Dennis is an ass, and it would have been funny if he didn't get his money back by him believing that, all the money he spent on fake Megan Thee Stallion. But of course, I love when, they say, okay, we're gonna wrap this up for today, but we're gonna come back to it. And of course, the elf ends up going up on the stand saying, okay, with, new news that I have or whatever, we're gonna, clean all the charges and stuff, and, and the elf can go free, essentially. And of course, Pug knew right away, no, Runa, I think that's the name of the elf, saying that this is getting old or whatever. And of course, the one that was defending Runa said, "Hey, you know how much you can get in trouble for pretending to be a judge or whatever," and said, "Get down from there." And then of course, the guard ends up chasing Runa around the courtroom, and Pug's like, "This is gonna go great in our favor. That Runa is kind of trying to jeopardize our own." jeopardize her own case, essentially, to be free and not have any charges put against her. So I thought that was very funny that even even new Asgardians are kind of like, don't care about our laws. They'll just do whatever they want, essentially, from what it seems to be. I think we'll not just see that from people from New Asgard, but people that just come from any point in the galaxy. When they come to Earth, they're just not going to care about the laws. Like, we haven't really even seen that. Even from Thor, when he first came down, he's never really cared about the laws. Even I would say even beyond that, I'd say he still doesn't care about the laws of how Earth works. But it's very interesting to me that we're getting into the law aspect, and that's what I love about this show. But going on, we do get back to when Jen goes back to Emil, and pretty much again it's the people versus Emil Blonsky, and we're getting to the point of if Emil should be let out after the case kind of got jeopardized. The people that were kind of like going against Emil said that he left his cell, and that kind of jeopardized the thing, regardless of all of the reforming he's done and all the good deeds he's done, because we end up having a whole bunch of people come in that he's helped. Like, he's helped the dude get over his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or whatever, and also he was able to, instead of making fruit punch in the toilet, I guess he made like taquitos or kombucha. Like, he's just helping everybody out in this Supermax prison. He's been doing therapy with a whole bunch of all the other prisoners and stuff. And I was totally wrong when he said with my 7 soulmates. It actually means his 7 soulmates of women that I guess he wants to spend the rest of his life with. I was totally off. I thought he meant Thunderbolts. So did everybody else. So it's not just me that thought it was Thunderbolts. But it turns out that's not the case. But, they're all afraid on the fact of, even, Wong is late. And Wong promised Jen that he would come there and tell everybody why he took, Emil out. But also why, Emil didn't stay out at all. And why he went back to his cell. And how he wasn't like, he could have escaped. And that was the closing argument. He's saying he could have escaped when Wong does show up. But he ended up going back to his cell after, Wong took him out. Kind of against his will. And, he ends up going free, which was crazy to think that, I want to believe that Emil isn't tricking Jen. And Jen even told Emil, like, Emil's like, I'm in your debt. And Jen's like, no, how about you just stay out of the news? Oh, he's like, I'm in your debt. And then Jen looks at him, he's like, oh, spiritually, you're in my debt. Like, nothing else. She's like, just stay out of the news. That will help a lot. But I don't think that's the case. He's not going to stay out of the news. I do see this ending where this is a play, even though I'm really wishing and hoping he's not playing Jen and this is actually genuine, because it would make Valentina recruiting him so much more worse that she's manipulating him. I would really prefer that, because Val is a manipulator. She manipulated John Walker when he was like literally down in the dumps, and no one wanted him, but she's the one that gave him a chance and is able to manipulate him, say, oh, you want to be a part of a team. You know what I mean? She kicked, she was manipulating Yelena when she was down, when she found out Natasha died, and sent Yelena, straight at Clint Barton, to take Clint out for Kingpin. So it's like, she is a person that likes to manipulate people when they're down in the dumps. And I do think that that's what's going to happen to Emil Blonsky. I think he's going to be put back in prison, and then she is going to make a deal somehow, or something's going to happen. I'm not quite sure. I just don't see this ending well, and I hope this is genuine, though, because it'll make it that much more better of knowing how much of a villain Valentina is, and really how much of a threat Valentina is building up this group. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in the next couple of episodes. The way they ended this episode, though, which was really crazy to me, is that she ends up like stopping out of her car, and then she ends up walking, and then there is these goons, and I'm not quite sure what they are. They're not like, they're not like the tracksuit mafia, but they're like these different goons in the comic books. At the top of my head, I can't remember the name. If you know the name of this group, let me know down in the comments below, guys. But they end up trying to take out Jen, essentially. And then the one dude's like, oh, you think you could just walk around with all this power or whatever, and then, you don't have to, like, fight or whatever. Like, he was pretty much like saying, oh, if you have these powers, you have to expect that there's going to be bad guys or whatever. So when that moment happens, she's just screaming, and that one dude has her, and she's like, oh, I forgot. And then she just ends up going into She-Hulk form and beats the shit out of him, out of all of them. But the moment that I really had me dead is this one dude lands on his spine. Like, she throws this dude, and he just eats it on his spine. I was like, dude's dead. I was like, he's not going to be able to walk. Dude is gone. She threw him up high and he landed hard. But the thing that really gets me is that one dude tried stabbing her with something, and I couldn't really tell what it was at first. I thought it was a knife. But then when we end up trying to escape and get into a vehicle, the one dude says, "Oh, did you get it?" And he's like, "No." When she turned into She-Hulk, that's her nasty green skin, stopped me from doing it. And then he says the boss isn't gonna like that. Right away, my theory started rolling. I could say it could be Kingpin. I could say it could be Dr. Doom. I could say it could be, Sharon Carter. Because as we all know, Sharon Carter is the power broker. And Sharon Carter even works for somebody that, that she was trying to get all this tech and stuff for. And, it makes me wonder, is it someone bigger like Doom? Because we all know kind of like, the Fantastic Four are coming. And that automatically means that Doom is coming. So it's like, could it be Dr. Doom? Or could it be... could be Kingpin. My sister doesn't think it's Kingpin because Kingpin, she said, doesn't get into the whole blood thing and all that stuff. I told Bethany this isn't the same Kingpin that we know. And I told Bethany that we have to expect to see Kingpin more because he's definitely, if he's in with Valentina, he's definitely in and how trade, and also even in the Spider-Man game, Beth, and even in the comics, he's in the trade. Like, he trades weapons, he trades stuff, and that's a weapon. That blood is a weapon. And even Hulk said it earlier in episode 1, saying that that's why I'm destroying your blood, because it's a weapon. It can make one of us.
It's just the villain.
Bro, I'm telling you, it must be Kingpin. I'm sticking with it. It's gotta be Kingpin, but you never know. It could be Dr. Doom. Those are my 2 theories. I don't know if it's much as Sharon Carter, but you never know. I feel like I'm going to stick with 3. But mainly, right away, I thought instantly of Kingpin. I might stick with that. That might be my main theory. But I had the other ones too, as you guys just heard me said. So we'll have to wait and see who it is. I don't know if we'll get that answer by the end of this episode, but guys, we still have a couple more episodes left. I mean, this was 3. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 6 more episodes, maybe, of this show. I'm just so happy. I love this show. I feel like this show has the most connectivity to the MCU out of all the other shows. I think this is more entertaining than all the other shows. And I'm just having a blast. Especially the way they end this episode where, Jen has... Megan Thee Stallion writing off on I guess as like a witness or whatever, and said, "Can you sign?" Or maybe just she wants her autograph when she said, "Sign here, sign here, sign here." I don't know.
No, I think she's a client.
Or she's a client. I guess now she's a client. I guess, but it was super funny to me when, of course, Holden Holloway ends up walking around the corner and ends up seeing Megan Thee Stallion and Jen twerking to Megan Thee Stallion's Body song. I'm not quite sure of the name of the song, but it's like either the song. But that had me dead. I said the internet is going to have a field day of dudes and everybody simping on the fact that Jen is twerking and stuff like that. People are going to find it funny. People are going to find it hot. It's going to be super funny to see what the internet does with this. But yeah, honestly, I'm loving the show. As you guys know, I've been loving the show. I'm a big supporter of the show. Again, send this review to everybody a part of She-Hulk, the cast, the crew, everybody. Send this to them. And let them know how much, I love She-Hulk and how much, and how much of a supporter I am here on the channel for She-Hulk. But yeah, guys, yet again here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, like this video, so you guys don't miss next week's spoiler review, and also don't miss next Wednesday's episode 4 pre-show for episode 4 of She-Hulk. So you guys can stay tuned for my live stream, and my 2 live streams are up. Unfortunately, we didn't do a live stream for episode 1, me and my bro, because we kind of figured that, we kind of came up with the idea, we should do it, before episode 2 and maybe do it for other Disney Plus series as we go on with more Disney Plus series to come down the line. But so you don't miss any of that, again, subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, like this video. I also have 3 other videos, popping out today, along with I'm seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version. I'm seeing that today. So tomorrow, later today, I'm going to be doing like a review, like a re-review, but with the new stuff that they have. So I'll probably put up another review again for all the new stuff that they have in the movie, and that will be up tomorrow. I'll probably be thinking about also doing like a reviewing slash vlog, but that will be up tomorrow because I have no content up for tomorrow, so that will be the content that's coming up tomorrow. Along with, I ordered a new Spider-Man suit. I don't want to say what Spider-Man suit it is because I'm going to be doing an unboxing for it, but I'm super excited for that to come in. It should be here maybe in the next couple of days, so look forward to an unboxing for that. And along with some other things, Cobra Kai is next Friday, and also we have D23 on Saturday, so crazy shit is going down here on this channel. So if you guys are interested in any of the stuff I just mentioned, again, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, and like this video. But guys, yet again, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.